Welcome to Royalty Real's Real podcast. Real conversations, real people, real life. Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your man Royalty Real here today, and I'm back with another podcast episode. Today, my guest is my beautiful mother-in-law, Miss Patsy Murphy, Lady P.
How you put it?
This is our second time doing this.
Yes.
We had got a whole hour and a half into the episode, and my computer said nope and deleted the whole file.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great episode, so I hope that we can recreate what we did before. And yeah, I'm a little nervous because it was great the last time.
Man.
So we got a lot to live up to, Mom.
Yes.
Well, hopefully they got nobody has the other one to compare it to, so we'll see.
Yeah.
So this time I'm gonna start off with where you grew up and what it was like growing up in LA in the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Wow. What age?
So like your earliest memories from like, maybe 60s, like 9, 10 years old.
Oh, wow. Can I remember that far back? Kind of old now. Well, I remember when we lived, I guess, South Central, like on, I think it was like 87th and Main. I went to South Park Elementary School. I went to another elementary school before then, but it was in the 50s, Hooper Elementary School.
Oh, I heard that school.
Yeah, I went there for a little bit. Then, my mom traveled around, quite a bit when I was a little kid. Really wasn't a stable foundation.
Yeah.
So we went to various different schools, but we ended up moving to, like I said, on 87th and Main. And I went to South Park Elementary School.
How was that? Was it good school?
Oh, it was pretty good. I mean, it had its days. In our neighborhood back then, everybody knew everybody's family by the last name. We had the Gilchrists. We were the Murphys. We had the Harveys. We had the Brooks. That's how Metcalfs.
So it was a tight-knit community.
Oh, yeah. Family-like issue thing back then, Everybody knew everybody. Everybody knew the kids, the parents. The neighborhood just, back then was like family. Everybody knew each other. Totally different than the way it is today.
Right.
And, we had the most best holidays.
My dad grew up like that too. He said the neighbor had the right to snatch you up and whoop you too.
Tear your hind part up.
And then you get another whooping when you get home for embarrassing your parents.
You got your butt whooping when you did wrong at school.
Oh, yeah.
We had them big old paddles in the principal office. Ooh. Bam!
Yeah,
you got swatted and then got home.
I guess that's a similarity that we have because I went to a private school where they were allowed to do that. And they tore our butts up and we acted up. So we stayed in line.
It made better kids, I tell you that.
Yeah.
The police weren't out there doing nothing wrong to us because we got it done wrong when we got home.
Right. So
I was a good girl, though. I didn't get in trouble. We'll leave that alone.
So, the next thing I want to get into is the gang culture. Like, did you witness any of that growing up in LA?
Well, when I was in junior high school, went to Bret Hart Junior High School, the gangs had to start coming out then. But the gangs were totally different. You survived and lived another day. You got whooped with your fists. Next thing you know, got chased home, but you still lived.
Right.
Probably became best friends with, who you had to fight with after that. But they cowards now.
Right.
It's all about we don't fight no more, we just shoot and kill. Those cowards.
It's a lot of people in hip hop now that are doing that too, where they're
right.
like, well, I don't even fight, I shoot them. Just like with that.
It's sad.
What kind of respect did you get from that? Because you can beat somebody up and say, I'm sorry.
Right.
We both apologize to each other. We could be best, like you said, best friends after the fight. So there's no reason to
still live to see another day.
Right, and you can get all the anger out that you had at that point. I mean, even though I don't condone fighting, but I'd much rather you fight with these two people. If you agree that you don't get along with them, fight it out. Okay,
Right.
he won. Okay, y'all squash it. That's it.
Yeah. But another thing that I do like that they brought in now that's helping a lot, a little. Not a lot, but it's helping a little. What people can get their anger out through battle rap.
Yeah.
I watched that through my son. Everybody know who he is.
Yeah.
You know, but
If you don't know, her son is Davon Campbell, also known as Daylyt.
right. And
My brother-in-law.
Right. So that in itself, you know, I think is a great thing.
It's an
Where you
outlet,
can
yeah.
just get it out, and then you going home.
Right.
And everybody talking about, man, he did so and so and so. Man, he was, you know,
Right.
that's good. I like that. I like that. If we can get more of that going on
Right.
and taking more anger out like that, you know, to save more lives to me.
I totally 100% agree. I think it's just people need outlets, and especially like from when I was a kid, especially a young boy. Like I had so much pent up aggression, and
Right.
I didn't know how to let it out because I wasn't a football player or a basketball player like that.
Right.
So it was rapping for me that started to let me come into my own and like let me start seeing the world in a different way. And then I started battle rapping all the way back in high school.
Right.
So
right.
we had a thing where, and I was looked just like I do now. You know, I was nerd kid with glasses, so nobody expected anything from me.
Right. Right.
So it came down to battle rap. It was like, oh, I'm gonna beat him, and I started rapping him.
And you got to him.
Oh yeah,
They didn't know you had it in you.
and everybody started. Oh, you got beat with the dude with the glasses, and shut up, he gonna beat you too.
Yeah. That's
So-
cool.
So we started talking about music. That was one of the things that you and I connected on first. Was one of the first times I actually came to your house when you lived in Palmdale. We were working on music,
Right.
and you had a whole studio set up. And my wife Daisha didn't tell me that. She told me you did music, but I didn't know that you rap.
Oh yeah.
And so I came there and I saw that she was rapping. I said, my mother-in-law rap. Let me find. We got to work together, and we ended up working on a great song, which
Yeah.
we're gonna finish.
We're gonna finish.
It's been like 5 years in the making now, over 5 years actually,
Yeah. Right.
and it was just great to connect with you
On that level.
on that level.
Yeah, because everybody must be surprised when I say, hey, I'm a gospel rapper. Yo, what? And then when they hear my bars, they be like, what the heck? You know, I surprise them.
Right.
I like doing that. I
That's-
like surprising them.
So-
You know, and back to the one that we working on is Can't Nobody Do Me Like Christ.
Right.
And we, you know, you had your hook, and it's been a while, but it was like, can't nobody do me like Christ, my Lord and my Savior. He changed my life. I'm baptized in the blood. God knows I love life. I pray every day to the devil. I pray every day to We'll go back on that later. But,
Yeah, that was an awesome.
but that's what it was. It was something like that. But we're gonna come back. It's been a while, but you know, we're gonna get back on it.
Yeah, it was an awesome track. We're gonna finish it,
Yeah, we're
record
gonna
it,
finish it.
and release it. So
I got so many of them that I've done. I've been around to a lot of churches, and I have performed prior, you know, to, you know, a while ago, and I love it. You know, I got a couple of videos on YouTube back in the day. You know, one's called Kingdom Minded. You know,
I'll post the link to those videos in the description for this video, so you can go check those out most definitely.
Right.
And you're a great performer. Like I saw
Right.
an event. We were just talking about that on the other podcast that we did, where I
Right.
saw you. It was for somebody's birthday, and you and Daisha had dressed up as Gladys Knight. And
Oh no, we did. Well, I acted like I was Aretha Franklin.
Aretha Franklin, yeah. And had the whole
Oh,
full
my God.
get up and
Oh, yeah.
everything, and then the dance
Right.
moves was
Oh,
going.
yeah. That's how we used to do, you know. Always been performers, always. My mom was a performer, blues singer. So my brother, he was a performer, keyboard player. I mean, it's just always been musically inclined in my family. My son, he's a rapper before Daylyt became a rapper. My next to my oldest son, You know, so it's always my niece. She sings. You know, so my sister, my baby sister, she sings. So, you know, a couple of more nieces sing. It's always been in the family.
It's all in the family.
Music always been in the family. Mm-hmm.
So I had asked you about this before, but who started rapping first, you or Walter or Devon?
I believe didn't even know I was rapping when they were little kids. I was just going through the house one day, and I was just singing drugs. The number one abuser of people are big time drug users. And I was like, my kid's like, Mama, you rap? I was like, where'd that come from? You know, and it kind of took off. And some years later, my nephew had called me, Keith Cross. And he said, hey, Gran, he said, hey, Auntie, I got a rap class going over here in Watts. And I'm going to be teaching at the Watts Coffee House. And I'm like, yeah. He said, why don't you come on through? I said, I think I got a little bit something. So I went over there and I got a little training through him. And he taught me a lot of stuff, you know, about the business. And I went forward from there. And then I ended up, I think, moving to Palmdale. And I got with a great, phenomenal man named Marvin Page. Mm-hmm. And he one of the most phenomenal guys that you can ever want to do music with. You know, and I got with him. And I said, hey, Marv, we started a little thing in church. And he started a little rap thing going on. And he was like, wow. And I started recording in his studio. And I did a couple of albums with him. Well, not a couple of albums, a couple of songs with him. And he's background singing in a couple of them. So that
sounded like it was a good time.
Oh, my God, that was phenomenal, too. So, you know, it took off from there. And I started going around churches and stuff and performing. And it was wonderful.
So, how was it performing for you? Were you ever nervous?
No.
Like getting on the stage?
A little bit, but I loved to do it. I liked it. I mean, like I said, my family been doing it for so long, so it's a natural thing. So, you know, it's just something I always love to do.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. I guess, like, you know, when a runner, they say they get a runner's high. I get a high from the stage presence of being up there and the crowd, and you know it's all eyes on you,
right.
And it's just like. But you, at the same time, you know what you wrote, and all you got to do is perform what you wrote.
Right.
But and then to get the feedback to somebody start clapping,
and actually you blocking it out. Don't mean to cut you off, because you don't realize how good you are. Because when you get in that zone,
right,
you in that zone, and your head is going another atmosphere. And then after the end, people's coming, man, I was like, I was good like that. Right. You don't see yourself good like that because that's you.
You're in the moment, yeah.
Right. And then when you see it, you be like, wow, put that out like that.
Right.
So, you know, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So how did it feel to watch your two sons? Because your older son, Walter, he was performing with Death Row and you know, Suge Knight back in the day. He was rapping with them. Mm-hmm. And then to see where Devon is now, where he's up there, you know, he's noticeable by a lot of people.
Right. So, well, normal to me and my kids, so I don't look at them as performers or, you know, like other people, they idols to them. They're my kids, they just normal and regular to me. You know, I love them, you know, I support them. I don't travel a lot because Daylyt is always on the go. I don't like airplanes that much. He tries to get me to go a lot, and I be like, oh, Mom, see you when you get back.
Well, all the local ones, though, I've seen you.
Yeah, the local, I'll go to the local ones. But when he got to travel out, I'll be like, well, be safe, Mom. See me, I love you. Mom, see you when you head back. And for some odd reason, when he's going through customs, I'm always ringing his phone. I don't know how that happens. But it's like I just know when he coming back or leaving.
Mother's intuition.
Wow, yeah, that's awesome. He know it, too.
Yeah, actually.
You know, and Walt, one of the greatest performers that you ever want to in his era. I mean, going to see him was like, woo, you know, and the girls would just be going wild and just be going, really? Oh my God, they would get up on the stage, and some of the girls, I thought they would be part of the you know, the performance.
Oh yeah, the dancers or whatever.
They wouldn't be. They would be your girls that just hopped up there and just
like on the stage with
him. Yes, I seen one time he did a show And about 4 girls got up there, but I thought they were part of the performance.
Wow.
I was like, he was like, no, Mom, they weren't part of the performance. They just got up there and we just let them do their thing. But that was really nice because you would have really thought that those girls were part.
Wow.
But they weren't, and that was good. So he's did a lot, a whole lot. From, I say 14, 15, 16 years old. Phenomenal. All my kids phenomenal.
So I had heard about Davon before I'd even met Daisha in 2012 or 2013, and he was. I didn't like him at first. I'm gonna be straight up honest.
Right.
I didn't like him at first because he was battling against somebody that I liked, and on a league that I was on because I was battling at the time too.
Okay.
So he was battling against somebody that I liked. He was the champion of the league at the time. He was battling against him, and then he would start doing his antics, and I'm just like, well, he's terrible. He's not even because he was distracting me by what he had on, you know, or how he was acting. I think in that one he was being, you know, the super gangbanger with the blue rag around his head or whatever. And the guy he was battling was a blood, but he wasn't the type of person in his battles to mention that he was in a gang. So it was like it didn't matter to, you know, like it's just about whose bars are better. So to see this person, but I didn't listen, so I didn't get what he was saying until a couple battles later. I'm like, he's doing this so you can watch. Right. He's not, and then you have to rewind it back and listen to what he said.
Joke.
Right.
He's doing it for you to really watch to get to know who he is.
And it worked.
And he changed the game.
He really did. He really did.
One of the best known, I can say one of the best known rappers out there. Not because he's my son.
Oh, he definitely is.
But just watching, you know, the stuff he's doing, the stuff that he say.
Right.
You know, you be like, where this kid get the stuff that he say from?
Right.
You know, and it's natural. It's nothing that he got to rehearse. It's nothing that he got to write down and put in a book and remember. It's just spit off his head. I can't spit like that.
Right.
But from a kid, he been, well, you know, always watch him he always been a thinker.
And I noticed the talent, and then so it was crazy when I met my wife Daisha, and then I found out, like I saw a picture of on Facebook, and I was like, oh, they have the same last name, so they have the same picture, they must be related. So I thought they were cousins at first. And then to see, I asked her, she told me that's my brother, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like you guys are the two opposite ends of the spectrum, you know, as far as like he's very flamboyant and out there, you're more reserved. And I was just amazed, like you know, but for me it was I never get starstruck. I'm never the person to see somebody famous and, oh my God, let me get your, you know. Right. For me it was just like, oh, that's cool.
It's not famous. I mean, but that's us. Right. We can't go nowhere. If we go somewhere with him, we went downtown one year. Going down there to get my granddaughter's graduation clothes because his wife, Madi, she has her own, you know, clothing line, and she makes the most beautiful clothes that you could ever just want to see in her own line, you know. So we was going down there to get material, and me, him, my granddaughter, my daughter, we just walking around downtown. Out of nowhere, people just start running everywhere. Oh my God, this is Daylyt, this is Daylyt. We looking like, he just normal to us, you know?
So was it weird, or was it like, leave us alone, or how did you feel?
Well, he was like, well, you know, he took pictures with him and everything, because it was like, oh my God, when I get home and show this, nobody gonna believe, you know, that I'm with you. Right. You know, he said, well, I'm just down here with my family, you know. Right. You know, but it's really, I try to stay out the way. Right. Because I be like, I go places. Right. You his mom. I went in the bank to do a cash withdrawal, and the manager knew who I was.
Really?
He said, you Daylyts mom. I said, yeah. He said, I've seen you on the interview. You did an interview about him. Wow. I'm like, you know what? I gotta get out of here, because I don't want to be known. Right. I'm trying to stay in secret.
And he has no problem letting people know who you are in the battles, or were you ever concerned?
He wants me to get up, want to say a prayer. He want me to do something, you know. So,
were you ever concerned that somebody would mention you in a disrespectful way during those battles? Because you know, battle rap is very disrespectful. People will talk about somebody's mama like it ain't nothing.
But it's a battle. So I understand that. They're gonna talk about your kids.
Right.
They're gonna talk about your daddy. They're gonna talk about your brothers and your sisters. They're gonna talk about your wife. They're gonna talk about everything because that's a battle. So I understand that. But at the end of the day, all of them love me.
Right.
I'm Mama Pat. My Mama Pat, Miss P. I'm gonna be well respected by all of them because it's just a performance.
Right.
That's it.
And a lot of battle rappers and rappers, period, can't say that their mom will show up to their show and
I'm there
and support them 100%.
I always supported my kids, whatever they want to do. You know, from kids all the way up to adults. They'll tell you, I'm in the front row. I remember when he did the with Snoop Dogg. They had the basketball. Celebrity basketball.
Oh yeah, celebrity basketball game. Yeah,
I was right there in the front.
Wow.
It was like, how you sit right there with them? Hiya. Hey, I'm the celebrity's mom. I can sit there.
You got a picture with Chris Brown that day.
I got Snoop Dogg, Chris Brown, all of them. So I mean, but this ain't nothing new. We've been in the music for years, so I've been around celebrities since I was a little girl. They're normal just like us. Not to the public, I guess.
Right.
But to us, normal thing.
That's how it is for me too. Like, even though I didn't have many famous people in my family, I knew that no matter how famous you are, you're a human being.
You're a human being. I don't get excited because I'm used to it.
I think the only person I might be excited to see is Jesus.
That's about it. And I think we all gonna be excited on that.
Now Jesus them down. Hey,
don't forget me. I ain't been all that great, but don't forget me.
Right, exactly.
That's
I think
it.
now you a human being just like me.
Oh yeah, and they act just like you.
Exactly.
They just, the world just, know them by performing and, going around the world. But they live normal lives, believe me, at home just when they get a break, just like me and you.
Exactly. And I think sometimes we need to give those people a break because
they need a break
just
sometimes.
Like you and I can have a bad day, they can too.
They have probably more bad days than we have.
Exactly.
Because they have to deal with so much.
Exactly.
And people thinking performing is, I want to do that. You don't know what come with it.
Exactly.
You don't know what come with it.
The headache, the drama, the industry politics.
Yes, much more than you think.
Exactly. And that's why I never, like, when I was doing music when I was younger, I already knew that I didn't want to sign to a label, and I didn't want them to change who I was.
Right.
Because I heard about so many stories of people signing, and then, they were this way before they signed, and they was like, well, you're going to be this sex symbol now. But it's like, I don't want to be that. I want to be about music.
Right, yeah.
But because the label puts them, well, we can make you more money. For me, it's not about the money. It's about my creative freedom now. People like what I do creatively, just like this podcast.
Right.
If you like it, then it's great. But I'm not going to take money from people just because they want me to do certain things. Except maybe an advertiser, I'll promote your product if I think it's good.
Right.
But if I don't like your product, then no. Because I'm not gonna sell somebody that I wouldn't use myself. Say this water bottle, I like it, but if I didn't like this water bottle, I'm not gonna advertise this great water bottle because they told me to. They're gonna pay me this much. I don't care.
Right. That's true. That is true.
So you have mentioned you were being supportive of all your kids as far as music. You were supportive of Daisha's photography.
Cost me a lot of money. To send that girl to college for photography.
So what was the inspiration for that, for you to be so supportive of their dreams like that?
When you growing up and you really don't have no one to support your dreams and the things that you want to do, and you don't have nobody to back you up as a child, and when you become an adult and you have your own children, your own family, you want to make things change. You want to break generational curses. And those curses that I broke in my life, that I was going to be there for my children and support them no matter what. If I had to do it by myself, even without their dad, I was going to be there on the front line and support them. I never just encourage them to not do nothing that they didn't want to do. Whatever it is that they wanted to do, and they believed that they wanted to do that, their mom was there to support them in that. Even if it failed,
right.
Even if it didn't succeed, I still was on the front line with them.
And that's something that I respect you so much for,
Mm-hmm.
because that's something that my mom didn't even give me. Because when I first told her I was doing music, she was like, "Well, that's not a real career," you know. And I think that's another thing.
That is a real career.
Exactly, and I had a passion for it. And if I would have pursued it more when I was younger, when I was more hungry, I probably would have been much further along now.
Yes.
But a lot of things.
A lot of stuff getting in your head, and you. It happened to me too. I could have been way more advanced in the career that I could have been into, but listening to a lot of negativity that stopped me from pursuing a lot of things that I could have done. You know, and that's why I support my kids.
Definitely.
You know, and say, hey, the sky's the limit, and limit the sky. There's no limit in God, right. And that's what I tell them all the time.
Definitely.
You know, so hey, do what you got to do.
And that's something that you and I connect on as well too. Is like we were both black sheeps of our family, and like my mom passed away in 2020, but I promised myself I'm going to be real with myself, and things that she did wrong was one of the things was not being supportive and then pushing me away when I was younger.
Right,
you know,
right.
and probably one of the most important times in a teenager's life is 17, 18, because you think you're ready for the world, but you're not. And I was not.
And that's when you need your parents the most.
And my parents pushed me away, and it took years for my mom to come back around and say, I messed up.
Right.
And
well, at least she did.
Yeah, exactly. I'm very much...
At least she did. Some of them don't. Never tell you that.
No. And I was happy that I was able to get that clarity from her. So, how was it for you? Because, you know, your mother recently passed away.
My mother recently passed away, and I love her to death, even though we didn't see eye to eye, and I didn't have the relationship with her that I wanted to have with her as a daughter, as a child. What child don't want to be close with their mom?
Of course.
What child don't want to be able to get in their mom's bed and just lay down and caress and hug her and just talk about whatever problems that you have and you're going through? What girl wouldn't want to do that? My dad died when I was 5. So the father figure, if it wasn't other than my brothers, I didn't have.
Right.
You know, I mean, she had boyfriends or whatever, but they weren't intended to my needs. You know, they were intended to her needs or whoever else needs they were intended to, but they weren't father figures to me, you know. Right. But that's just how it goes. It's hard when you doing something in school and you have no support. Like me running track, no one's there. Me on the volleyball team, baseball team, no one's there. But you see other people, family supporting them, parents are there, family members, but you're there all alone. I promised myself I would never do that to my children.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask that. Do you think that's why that you're so
breaking
hands-on?
generational curses?
A lot of people use that.
I don't even remember my mom being at my graduation. I know my brother,
really?
my oldest brother, and his first wife. I was with them, and I stayed with them for a while, and they brought my graduation clothes, everything, you know, and they were there. I can't remember my mom being there. No, I should, but no. But I love my mom.
Right.
I don't know what it was. I've always been a good girl.
Right.
You know, never done nothing out in the ordinary nobody else done. I wasn't one of those kids that ran off and did all kind of crazy stuff. I just never quite understood it, but hey, that's just the way it is. You know, that's the way it is. But my grandkids, my kids, get in granny's bed. Go to sleep. I don't care. My home, open the refrigerator.
Right.
Lay down. Do whatever it is you want to do. I don't pry them from. Just keep it clean. That's the only time they hear my mouth.
Even to me, you've always been welcoming and said that you're home.
Everybody
too,
know
and
that.
It's
my
just
nieces,
so
my
lovely.
nephews, they'll tell you that. I've always been like that. Can't change.
Right.
Ain't gonna change.
it's been such a blessing since the first day I met you. I feel like we had a connection because Daisha was shocked because the first time I met you, we were going to one of Davon's shows, and
it was downtown. Huh?
Yeah, downtown LA. And you rode with us because you didn't want to ride. You didn't want to ride in a packed car, so you know that it was just me and Daisha. So you rode with us, and Daisha started asking, "Mom, aren't you gonna ask him some questions?" And said, "For what?"
Yeah, right.
And I always wanted to ask you is why didn't you ask me questions?
Because I already read your spirit. If I would have asked you questions, I would have been doubting something. But that mean I didn't have to doubt nothing because I read your spirit. God already showed me who you was. I said, awesome. You got to be that boy's mama. From another mama, though.
Right.
And that's what I took you up on. Mm-hmm.
It's been such a blessing, like, to be a part of this family. And then, like I had mentioned before, like, even before my mom passed, her and I had a little small falling out where I was living with her, and I knew that I knew how history was with my mom and I didn't want to take a chance of us getting into it again, so I didn't want to be on bad terms, so I was like, I'm going to leave. And then at that time, Daisha and I were about a year and a half into our relationship, and I'm like, okay, what do? I don't have no options. I just lost my job, and I know my mom and I can't stay here.
Not seeing eye to eye.
Right, and so Daisha was like, well, just ask, can you stay here? And I'm like, no. Like, what do you mean? Stay? I can't do that. And I was so nervous about it. And I asked her to just come with me and ask. Just go ask her. I'm just please come with me. And so we asked about it. And I think we beat around the bush for like 5 minutes to get to the point. I'm just like, would you mind if yes, that's no problem. It was so easy of a thing for you. Why were you so open to like something like that?
I have a heart, and I always had a heart for people. And I tell everybody, don't count your kids out, because where you see them at is not where God might see them at later on. I was counted out. My kids was counted out, but God told me, chose you. You got to go through the valley, though, before you come out gold. That valley was long. Days I thought I wasn't going to come out that valley. Look at me.
Exactly.
God brought me out that valley. When I thought he wasn't even walking with me, my niece, she's passed away today. And she brought me this picture, and it had footprints on it. That footprints that she brought me, that picture, started taking me out of the valley. Because when I thought I was walking alone, God said it was me taking them steps behind you. You just didn't feel it, and you didn't know it. But I'm carrying you. That day is when things start changing. Not all the way, but process after process after process. And you just start showing me and showing me and showing me. It's not just the material things, the mental things. Just showing me, helping me get my mind together, my thoughts. Just showing me that I got you when nobody else got you.
Right.
You know, and believe me, I still have hard days. But I know he got me. And that's what keep me going. And that's what make me want to help everybody else. When you count it out, you don't want to do nothing but help those people that you think is counted out.
Exactly.
Because God showed me, don't underestimate the power of God and what he would do with somebody that you think he won't do it for. He amazing.
Right. 100%.
He amazing.
100%.
He done it for me, still doing it for me. He can do it for anybody. I'm an entrepreneur now. I'm a self-made individual with my own job. I'm retired.
Right.
And winning my own business.
Right. That is so awesome, man. I wanted to touch on one.
I don't mean to brag or boast, but he good. I'm giving it all to him, not me. He good.
Right. But he knew who to give it to, though. He knew who to give the gifts to, and
The ones that suffer the most.
Right.
The ones that suffer the most. Always the ones come out like gold.
I wanted to go back into the past a little bit. So you were with Daisha's father, and you
were married.
You guys were married.
Yes.
And you guys ended up falling out. You were witness to his drug addiction at the time, which was crack cocaine in the
when
early,
it came out,
late 80s and 90s.
Didn't quite understand what it was and what was going on with him and who introduced him to it, because he was a good man. You know, we had our ups and downs, but we didn't fight, we didn't fuss, we didn't argue. We weren't that type of people until that situation came in. I did not understand what was going on for a long time, you know, because I never heard nothing about crack cocaine and, you know, and then just seeing the little signs, because he would never disrespect our home and do it where the kids or I would know what he was doing. You know, that's something he never did. Whatever he did, he never brought it home. The kids never was allowed to. I can respect him on that,
Right.
for never bringing it home. But just being absent from home, and you see change taking place. I knew eventually what was going on once I learned. But I'm just grateful and thankful for him that he never brought it home to the kids.
And this is not downing her father at all, because right now he didn't.
Phenomenal man.
He kicked it.
Oh my God, been over 20-something years.
Yeah, I might have him on one day to tell his story with that, because he said he just woke up one day and said, "I'm not gonna do this no more."
Yeah.
You know, a lot of
never went back.
A lot of people with crack addiction can't say that because it takes over your whole life.
Yeah,
and you can't
never come back.
Exactly. So you're always gonna be that. But
you wouldn't even know if you look at him now. You wouldn't even never think he had a drug problem or addiction, would you?
Do you think that was the cause of why you guys ended up getting a divorce?
Yes, it was. He'll tell you that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That was it.
Was it difficult during that time, and did you think that you would ever get with anybody else after that? Because at that point, you had already had, about 6 kids? Daisha was born at the time, so all your kids were born at that time.
Yes. And he had prior kids as well. And those are my kids. I helped raise all those kids, with him or without him.
Wow.
Still kept us a family, whether he was there or not, right to this day.
Yep. And I've been witness to this multiple times.
Right to this day. We still a family.
His family is her family.
My family.
100%.
100% to this day.
And
I wouldn't change them for the world. Yeah.
And then so after that, you got with.
I remarried again some years later.
So a guy we call Pops.
That's another story. It was good. It was good too for a while. And I guess I don't know. I think moving him out of his habitat, you say, or comfortability, where he was born and raised from, and sending him to another atmosphere, I don't think he can quite probably deal with that, and became drinking more and more and more, you know, more and just became an alcoholic. I was there for him, trying to help him as well, you know, to get his life in order, get it together, and hey.
And Daisha told me that, you know, although she didn't like him at first, she had respect for him because of the type of man he was, including my wife was dyslexic growing up,
right?
He was the one that sat there with her and made sure she learned how to read,
right, and write her words right and her letters right. When she would write them backwards, he would teach her how to write them right. Yeah, he did.
So was it hard to see the transformation of the man that you saw when you first got married to the person he was when you guys finally split?
Yes, out of both of them. 2 phenomenal men, you know, out of both of them. You know, we still have issues. We all do. But, you know, I'm their friend.
Right. And I can attest to that too. I can attest to that too.
I'm their friend to the end.
Even to as much as to play a spades game like we did the other day.
Had fun. We wore them out, didn't we?
Whoop they butts. That was a really, really great time.
So we have good times. You know, it's all about being family, letting stuff go, If you hold grudges and bitterness, and you'll never, that'll be on you.
Right.
But when you let all that stuff go and release all that stuff, and you can forgive an individual for the things that they done, you can move on.
Right.
You know, and don't look at those things no more. Because ain't none of us been perfect. I done stuff too.
Right.
That I had to ask forgiveness for. You know, so I look at it like this, you know. Who the Son set free is free indeed. I'm free. Because I ain't holding on nothing.
Right.
So I'm free.
So another thing I want to go into is, so after my mom passed, my wife and I moved to Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
And we were out there for about 6 or 7 months, and you guys came and surprised her for her birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it wasn't much of a surprise because she kind of caught on to what was happening. I'm very much like my mom when it comes to cleaning, so I started going overboard in the
she
house.
probably wondered, what are you doing?
Why you keep cleaning up? You done went over there 3 times. You done cleaned that same spot on the floor. Where they going? My mama not answering the phone. Something going on. But she didn't know
right.
all who was coming, though. So it was still a surprise.
Right.
So you came out and surprised her for her birthday, which was amazing because those few months in Mississippi for us, we felt disconnected. My mom passed away in January, and my wife was very close to my mom as well.
Right, she was.
Yeah, so but her and I were, and still to this day, are still grieving the loss of her. So it was great for you guys to come out. But while you guys were out there, you guys had went to the store, and someone had mentioned, "Oh, y'all stay in that nice house over there?" Because it's a small town. Y'all stay in that nice house over there. Y'all should do foster care for the money or whatever. Yeah? And you came back and told me. I'm just like, people are doing this for the money.
Right.
People are taking care of kids not for the. I said it must be. We need to try to do this. Figure out how to do it.
Right.
And I didn't think it was a real possibility because of my past. You know, like I went to jail when I was 18, 19, and I was just like, they're not gonna take a chance on a guy like me.
Right.
And so, the day that you talked about that, they should not apply.
Right.
To be foster parents, and we were like, the application was rejected the next day. So we were just like, well, that was that. And then about a month after you guys left, they called us back and said, you know, well, we need you to fill out the paperwork. And we started getting the ball rolling.
Right.
And it was such an amazing thing, and you inspired us to do it. And we come to you a lot to ask you questions about it.
Right.
Because you've done foster care for so many years.
Oh, wow. I think the first little kid I got named was Joseph. One of my neighbors, he was a foster child to her, and she had an emergency and she had to go out of town, and she didn't want Joseph to go back in the system.
Right.
So I became his foster parent until Mary got back, because she wanted to keep Joseph. And that was one of my first kids that I got, and they came out, made sure I had room from live scan me, checked me out and everything. But prior to that, when I was like 12 or 13 years old, you know, I noticed that my nieces were being abused, you know, by one of my sisters. And I was sitting in my mom's room one day, and the hotline came in saying, if you know somebody that's, you know, kids are not being taken care of, you know, you can give us a call. So I made the first step to get my nieces help. And I love my sister to death, you know, but I made the first step to get them some help, to get them out of that abusive situation.
That's a commonality that we have too, because I recently had to do the same thing to my sister, and it's not easy.
Didn't want to, but those kids were in.
It's about the kids at the end of the day, and you got to fight for them because they can't fight for themselves at that point.
And then from there on, I've just been, you know, getting calls.
Right, from taking care, taking your.
Can you get so and so and so and so and so and so. You know, my thing was keeping families together. I didn't have to. You know, I could say, hey, I'm not, no. Right. You know, but we keeping family. You're not going to get the recognition. They're not going to give you no recognition. You're not going to get no pat on the back for what you did. It's always going to be something negative said about you. Oh, she do this for that. Oh, do that for that. But what they fail to realize, keep a file, keep videos. it speak for itself.
Right.
When the lies and the accusations are said, you can go back and open the door and say, okay, well, if this was going on, this was going on, look at this.
Exactly.
So that's what I've always done. I kept files and I kept video footage of all my children so they can see what a good life they had. Ain't about the money. They don't give you enough money.
At all.
Don't give you enough money.
If you want to get into the foster care
what
thing
you
for
have
the money,
to deal with some of these social workers,
really,
that shouldn't be, some of them shouldn't be even allowed to be a social worker.
Not at all. For me, it's like, why do you even get into this line of work?
They get into it for the money. They don't get in it to children. They get in it to make it worse for the foster parents and worse for the parents.
Yeah. Definitely.
Instead of encouraging them and showing them the outlet and which way to go. Oh, go get in the program. Do 6 months. Some people need more than 6 months.
For real.
They not rehabilitated in 6 months.
Not at all.
Some of those kids go get out the foster system, and 3 months later they be right back in it.
Right.
Because those parents, some parents do good.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie, but some parents need more than 6 months.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Because they need to get over some of their childhood trauma too, and
some of the foster parents need. Now don't get me wrong. It's some good foster parents and it's some bad foster parents.
There's some horrible ones.
So sometimes when you do get foster parents, social workers that's really strict, it's because they know the cover up that some of the foster parents, make. But me, I don't really consider myself as a foster parent. I consider myself as granny.
Right.
Granny just taking care of all the kids.
Right. So you've had to watch a whole host of, take care of a whole host of your grandchildren. Ooh. And even some that were not blood related. Mm-hmm. So at that point, you said you were always wanted to keep families together. Was there ever any doubt of taking these kids in that weren't your blood?
No, I never had a doubt. Just I love those kids if they were my blood. I still do to this day. All of them that I ever had in my life. My door's always open for them. Even though I've been through a lot of wrong being said. But I'm always there for them.
Right.
Always have been. And in their hearts, they know. They know.
And those kids have become my nieces and nephews, and I love them dearly. And they've accepted me as their uncle, whether it's blood or not. I love them the same amount that I love my actual blood nieces and nephews, because they are my family.
You don't look at them.
Exactly. There's no difference. Your kids, I love y'all.
I don't look at it like that.
And you shouldn't. That's how people really need to start seeing things.
I don't look at it like that. It's more than blood.
Right.
It's more than blood. And sometimes blood could be worse.
I always tell people that too. It's like family is what you make it. So sometimes the ones that you are blood don't do you right. Man. And the ones that you don't know from nothing will be the best to you.
That's it. So I don't look at it like that.
And that was so awesome. So after that, my wife and I, we told our story on my podcast I did a couple weeks ago about how we got into it, and we adopted our daughter.
Right.
And it was your first time meeting her in person a couple weeks ago when we came out here, and it just felt like she's his family. She just right into what she came into.
Exactly. She always been there.
Right.
I don't make a difference.
And
can't.
It's been great to see how you interact with her, because I knew it was going to be great, but then at the same time it's like you want to see it.
Right.
So I wanted her to see her grandmother out here, and then she's met my father already. So it's like and she's met her grandmother and grandfather out here, so it's like she's met and she knows
the whole
that she's
family.
She knows she's
and
family.
We don't look at stuff like that.
Right.
We don't. You family. We don't. That's just how we is on both sides. We like that.
And she done made such a connection with her cousins. Half the time I don't even know where she is. She she with her cousins going somewhere.
I raised them like that.
Right.
So that's the way I raised my kids. We like that.
It
You know,
it is so awesome to see that, and you've been a great inspiration on that. And even
Mm-hmm.
when we were having our difficulties with the social workers and stuff, you were there to
Right.
help encourage us and tell us that
Mm-hmm.
these social workers are gonna
Oh
put you
boy.
through the ringer.
Oh my God, I've had some good ones. I done had some horrible ones. But that didn't stop me from doing what I needed to do for the kids. I didn't throw in the towel and say, okay, I'm not going to do this no more because these workers is horrible. You know, and I'm not finna... I had some of the most horriblest workers in the world that would lie. How would you lie, though?
You had told me about when that lie
Yeah,
about.
I had one that, oh my God, I had just moved to Palmdale. That's when I think Isaiah and them was maybe 2 and 3 years old. Kiera, Derek, they was babies. And me and Betty had just bathed them one day, and they was running around without their little shirts on, you know, because we just was greasing them up, lotioning them up.
Right.
Had fed them breakfast, getting ready to put their clothes on them, and I get a knock on the door. I thought maybe it was, I don't know, church person, Jehovah's Witness, whatever. It's a Saturday.
Right.
They come out, and I guess he said I've been sitting in front of your house for a while, you know, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then he told me who he was. I thought maybe he was a new social worker since I had moved.
Right.
You know, he was coming to greet the children, you know, because he going to be their new worker. But definitely he wasn't their new worker. He was coming because allegations was made that I was abusing the kids. They wasn't being fed. That all my windows was broken out in the house. Roaches all in the refrigerator. Kids didn't have no food.
Was that hurtful to hear that there was accusations?
I cried like a baby. Because he said, I sat in front of your house for a while. And he said, it looks so neat and clean from the outside, from the yard. He said, I usually can really tell how people live from the outward appearance. He said, but your stuff was so neat and clean.
Right.
And then when I knocked on the door and I walked in the house, and I sat on your couch, and he said, oh my God, it just smells so clean. It smells so good. He like, well, in his mind, he was saying, what's going on here? Because this came from a social worker, not from an allegation from somebody else.
Right.
And then he sat on my couch and he told me what the situation was. He said, even though, you know, I see nothing, I still have to check the babies. He checked them and everything. He was like, this is crazy. He went and checked he said, you don't have not one broke window. Opened my refrigerator full of food. He said, this refrigerator clean as ice and full of food. He said, what's... He said, well, I just have to check. And I knew that I can't say the name who it was, but I know who it was.
Right.
And he said, I can't believe that she said those things about you. He checked every room, every crack was outside, inside. I didn't know he was coming, so it wouldn't have been nothing if I was doing something. I couldn't cover it up. And he was like, you know, Miss Cole, this is unbelievable. Unbelievable. And I told him, I said, I can imagine who it was. And I said, she's not allowed to never come to my house ever again. I don't know if she was mad because I moved from LA to Palmdale. I don't know.
And then putting the kids in jeopardy like that.
Then
too.
I had another one came out one time, and I don't even know where she come from because they had another worker prior to it, which was a man. And I told him that I'm not giving, these kids don't need no medication. Ain't nothing wrong with them. These kids are fine. Oh boy, she acted fool, went to the schools, acted fool. I'm going to get these kids took for you. You don't want to get these kids. Man, these kids is 4 and 5 years old. Why these kids act a fool. I done seen them do this, I done seen them do that. They try to kill a whole family. I say, do it look like these kids, there's something wrong with them?
Right.
She subpoenaed me to court. If you don't come down here and get these papers, so and so and so and so and so and so. Go to court. The judge say, what the hell? What's going on here? Took them back there. These kids more intelligent than me. Had IEPs done on them. They don't need no IEPs. These kids are smart as heck. What are you talking about? So you get them like that because they want that power.
Yeah.
I even had one when I moved. I think I moved in Bakersfield. We had just moved. Tired that night. She was so demanding. I need you to have these kids back out here by 8 o'clock in the morning. I don't care about you moving or not.
Wait, from Bakersfield to Palmdale?
Mm-hmm. And I had to get those babies up. And we was up like 11, 12 o'clock at night. And I had to get those babies up to meet her at the U-Haul place so she can get them to take them to see their mom. And I had to stay out there and wait till she got through with the visit and meet her back at a McDonald's so she can give them back to me. That was a power play. I had to call, and it was a weekend. I had to call the supervisor and say, what happened? I said, she didn't only jeopardize me, she jeopardized the children, because if I would have fell asleep on the road and I had to rush and get down there because she gave me a time frame, limit time to get down there.
That's ridiculous.
I ain't see her no more in the office. That was jeopardizing our lives.
I feel like that happens a lot with people that get in any position of power. If they're not used to that and they don't have the right intentions, they abuse it.
She could have said, well, hey, Miss Cole, I know you guys just moved. We'll make it for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that. I know you're tired. Shh.
Or she could have made the sacrifice and drove up there to get him herself.
No, she didn't.
But they don't want to. We deal with so many social workers like
that.
that.
I don't even know if she had permission to even do it. Because, you know, she has a supervisor.
Exactly.
I don't even know if she had permission to even do that. But I know when I was, you know, was able to talk with the supervisors the next week, you know, I ain't see her no more. You know, after that, you know.
They should not have the same issue with like a social worker, and we went above her head. But actually, the crazy thing was she told us to contact the supervisor, because she said her supervisor wanted to talk to us because she said that the supervisor had an issue with us.
Right.
So I called the supervisor myself, and then she was like, I don't know why she had you call me, because I didn't say that.
Wow.
Because it was about going to an appointment, which was very unreasonable. It was very far away.
Right.
And they weren't providing extra gas for it.
No.
And it was early in the morning. And we told her we couldn't do it because we were working at the time. And then so the social worker was so upset about it. But the supervisor was like, no, we have a thing in place for this. We'll get her to her appointment, no problem. And she actually apologized for her worker doing it. She said, I don't know why she said that. But you didn't need to call me. Everything's fine.
Right.
As far as we're concerned, you're a great foster parent.
You go through so much with them. You don't want to be a foster parent. I said I would never be. I would never take. Going through all the stuff I've been through, I said I'll never take care of any more kids ever again. And that's sad to feel that way.
Exactly.
Because the kids need people, but because of their ways and they're not trained properly the way they should be trained. This is why we have less foster parents. Because we're treated like we the villain.
Exactly.
We're not treated like we somebody that's taking care of the children. We treated like we nobody.
Right. And we're the ones that's really there for the kids and really caring for them.
And this is why the rating of the foster parent system is so low today. Where there's not that many. That's why so many kids are in McLaren Hall and can't find any families, because nobody wants to be a foster parent behind some of these bad social workers. I'm just going to put it out there and tell the truth.
It's not the kids, though. It's really not. Because I'm understanding the kid's going to be a kid.
Yeah.
They're going to have their own mistakes. And if you get into it not realizing that you was a teenager too, you made bad decisions too. So.
And you don't know where those kids coming from. Some of those kids been really tremendously abused and from foster home to foster home to foster home. Right. So you got to know how to deal with them, you know, on that level. You got to love them.
Love them. Have patience with them.
Man, have patience with them. You got to show them that you're there for them, no matter what. You know, and you getting people come at you like that, you don't want to do it.
Exactly.
You don't want to do it. No.
And I've been witness to your caring spirit. Even just to me, like the other day I had a breakdown, and you were there to comfort me and really be there for me because you knew where I was coming from. And like it was hard for me to be that vulnerable because I'm a man, you know. And nobody want to be a man and I'm crying, but I was broken down, and you just came there and gently calmed me down, and I was able to pull it together and continue on with my night, and ended having a good night after. So that caring spirit, like I know that you can do that with me and the kids. Like it takes that.
Takes it.
To
you have to go through something to be able to do that, though.
Exactly.
If you ain't never experienced something, you can't go. You can't. If you don't understand that, then you can't do it.
Exactly.
But you have to go through something in life. It has to take you to a deep place in order for you to be able to do it.
Exactly.
I've been there.
Exactly. And
there.
And I've been able to do that for the kids that I've had. Like I've had one that broke down and cried into my chest, and like I could feel it that she was going through something, and I'm like, I'm not gonna let her go.
Right.
You know, I'm just hold her until she gets this out, and I'm here.
That's what you have to do.
I just kept telling her I'm here. She's just like, I'm sorry, don't be sorry, baby, it's okay.
It's okay.
And I do that for any kid, any person, you know, because I understand.
You understand.
Because it's hard.
See, let me tell you something. That's why God taking you through the realm He's taking you through for greatness. Because He got greatness for you. You might not see it. I didn't see it. I see it now. But you got to know that He's taking you through for greatness, because you're going to be a guiding light for children that need you. And you might not see that, but I do.
And I know I always had a passion for kids, like.
Oh, I see it.
And they attach themselves to
me.
You know?
I see it in you.
And I have the patience, because I can sit there and have a conversation with like my little nephew Zion, who's 6 years old. I can sit there and he not talking your ear off. No, I'm fine. Let him talk, you know, because I realized when I was that age, the biggest thing to me was whatever I was into. If somebody had a conversation with me for 10 minutes about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
right,
that was the best person in the world to me.
Man, that's how he is now about this Roblox stuff. I don't understand it. You guys do.
Right.
So y'all can deal with him on that level.
Right.
And he'll talk to you. He can name all these characters, and y'all know them too.
Right.
I'm like, what is they talking about?
I'm actually thinking about having him on the podcast too, just to do that.
Awesome,
and he actually wants to do it.
He will do it.
He is so smart.
He will do it. So, and he will answer every question you need him to answer.
Yeah, so it'll be my first, in a very unique podcast with my nephew. So that'll be something.
That'd be phenomenal.
Yeah, so another thing I want to talk about is on the last podcast you told me about what happened during the Rodney King riots. And,
oh my God! Yes, I was at work. Me and my sister, we had our own hair salon when it broke out right there on Crenshaw and 50-something. I'm at work and I'm like, what's going on out there? People running and stuff is crashing and I'm watching. We get on the news and they tell us what happened with the Rodney King situation.
Were you keeping up with the case at the time, or was it like a passing thing?
Yeah, passing thing, and it was that was weird. That was crazy. I ended up going to jail.
That night?
That day. When I got home, had my uniform on, went to the house, somebody said, hey, your son is down there in the store looting. My son was nowhere down there in the store looting. I didn't know that. I never went in the house to see. All I'm doing is listening to what a neighbor said. I run down the street, put my head in the door and say, hey, if you in that store, you better get out of here. I'm going to tear you up. SWAT team pull up. Hit the ground, hit the floor. I said, well, I'm trying to get my son. They don't want to hear all that.
Right.
I'm in my uniform. I got caught up in that for 3 days for something that I didn't even know what was really going on.
Wow.
You know, it was the worst time ever to experience something like that.
That might have been a horrible
feeling. Never been in jail in my life. And to be on the ground with guns on you.
How long did they keep you in there for?
I was in there for 3 days.
3 days away from your kids.
Kids, and my sister had my kids, and she wasn't quite the suitable person to have them, but she did a phenomenal job. She didn't do no drugs. She didn't leave them. She made sure she stayed there with them. I give her all honor and praises because she did a good job. You know.
And you had told me that you had met someone in there that you didn't even know.
My sister-in-law, Luella Brewer, which is married to my ex-husband's brother still today. And we became talking, and she was like, "You a Campbell?" I'm like, "Yeah." And we just got to talking and mentioning the name. She said, "Hey, I see Johnny. Me and Johnny dating." I said, "What?" Well, I felt a little power then because I wasn't in there by myself.
Exactly, right.
You know, and that's where we met at and been knowing each other ever since. You know, before she had any kids from my brother-in-law, didn't have no kids.
That's a crazy way to meet somebody.
Yeah.
You know, under those circumstances.
That's how we met.
But you guys made a connection.
Mm-hmm. Made
still
a connection
have
still today.
Right.
Yeah, still today. Crazy, still today.
So the last thing I want to touch on while we close this out, you had mentioned that you do crafts and stuff like that.
Oh my God, yeah, I am a crafter. I do so many phenomenal things. I take shoes and refurbish them brand new. I do stainless steel cups, decorate them. I do clothing. I do T-shirts. I do keychain. I mean, I it's so much stuff that I do. Pillows. I can't name half of the stuff that I do, but I am a phenomenal crafter. I am self-employed entrepreneur. God's been good on that.
Where did the passion come from that? Because did you think about doing that when you were younger?
Mm-mm. And that's what's so crazy. I retired, didn't have too much else to do, and I was at my daughter's house one day, and I started watching YouTube, and I started with the shoes first. Or was it the shoes, or was it the cups? No, it was the cups first.
Right.
And I just started watching the YouTube videos, and I got so interested in it. And I just went out and started buying things, and I think I got a whole box of cups that I messed up. But I keep them,
right?
You know, because they're sentimental, because I'm like, oh my God, it's bad, you know. And now I'm phenomenal, you know. And,
she is amazing, guys.
Man.
Like, amazing to see these cups that she makes, even the shoes. To all of this, like, I'm not a creative as far as doing stuff with my hands, but to see you over there tinkering away at your stuff,
mm-hmm.
and I see it brings you so much joy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it's peace. You know, even days when I don't feel good, I can go in my craft area and make my day better, because it takes my mind off of stress and take my mind off of, you know, things that I have to deal with daily on a daily matter. You know, and some days I don't feel good. You know, I can go to my lake. That's another stress reliever.
Right.
You know, I love fishing. I love my lake, the atmosphere. You know, so God's been good. You know, my beautiful backyard I can go sit in.
Right.
You know, with all those beautiful trees, and you know, he didn't bless me tremendously. But getting back to that, Passy's Crafts.
Exactly.
You know,
I'll post a link to her page. I want to help you create a page just for that on
and
Facebook.
I'm finna start. I need you to help me. I've been telling everybody, my YouTube channel is gonna be coming soon.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, my YouTube channel. I'm getting excited about that.
The people that do the crafts, they're gonna be amazed at her, because to see something that she transforms another thing, like these cups, like plain silver cups, and transforms it into something so fancy, and it's just like you want to buy it because you watch her make it. It's just like it's amazing.
My son, I said, I want to do shoes. He said, Mom, I got a lot of them for you. I'm gonna send them to you. When he got them shoes back, he was like, you did that? You painted them shoes. You redesigned those shoes. One of a kind. Hit me up. Ain't nobody gonna have one like you. I don't make no copies, no duplicates. You gonna get one of a kind.
That is awesome. So you don't mind me saying your age, right?
I don't know. Yeah, go ahead.
So being in your 60s now, what do you see as the next chapter of your life? Like, how do you see the next few years going?
My next chapter is to keep going stronger and stronger and stronger, because God ain't finished with me yet. I got a long way still to go. I'm only 30, really. I'm only 31. That's what I feel like.
Right.
It's what you feel. That will keep you here a long time. You feel old, what happens?
Right.
You feel young, you keep it moving. I'm still ready.
Right. Well, the last thing I want to say is how thankful I am to you, because
Thank you.
all the things that you helped me through, you've done for me being my mom, because my mom is not here anymore, to inviting me in your home,
Right.
always being welcoming. I appreciate you being on the podcast with me.
Thank you.
I love you.
I love you too.
And hopefully I can have you on again. Maybe
Oh,
have
you
different
will.
topics.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh
we
yeah.
have
Yeah.
music coming.
Yeah. That's the next topic when we complete this album.
Right.
Now that's gonna be phenomenal because they're not gonna believe it.
And we'll break it
got something.
down.
I got something for them.
It's gonna be awesome.
Oh man, got something for you guys.
Well, I thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate you guys. This has been another episode of Royalty Wheels Real Podcast. Subscribe, hit the like button, and share it. I love you guys.
Peace.